All right. Can you say your name and the evolution or the progression of your career from when it began in the skate industry and what it is presently?
Sure. My name is Alec Beck. I've been skating for 20 years. Started at the Santa Monica Boys and Girls Club skate park. That was the only place to skate. Then went into skating street, started skating at Courthouse and Samo and all these places in Santa Monica. Eventually got involved with the design and implementation of Stoner Skate Plaza down the street. Right after that, got involved with the liberation of the West LA Courthouse. And now, through that advocacy work, I'm the programs manager of the Tony Hawk Foundation. And we basically help implement skate parks, help skate advocates implement skate parks with their cities all over the world.
So, based on, I guess, what you had to do regarding Stoner, how did that help you? Stuff that you learned along the way and getting that started up. How did that help you when you tried to embark on this?
Sure. Well, I mean, Stoner was interesting because they came to a friend and I asked us, how do we get skaters out of the courthouse? And the answer was build something better. So we started designing a skate park, conceptual designs for a kind of street plaza with granite ledges, no fence, no helmet, colored concrete, make it flow, make it like a skate park with all street elements. And it worked. We got all the skaters out of here. And there was kind of a problem with that because once the skaters came out, the less desirable elements came in, like drugs and some shady stuff started pouring in here. So a lot of evidence for that to happen. And the courthouse thing wasn't planned. It basically just it kind of was an opportunity that presented itself. Timing was right. What ended up happening was Nike was going to do a Go Skate Day. Like, skateboarding was completely illegal here. There were knobs. You get a ticket. It was shut down. And people would still barge every now and then. It was coming to skate a little bit.
It was more popular in the 90s.
Yeah, absolutely. It was huge. It was much more skatable in the 90s, and it was a really special thing for a lot of people who were skating here and for skateboarding in general. The stage made it a proving ground for certain types of skateboarding. All the ledges in a row really made it to just be kind of perfect for line skating, for shredding around and getting tricks in a row, filming. But basically what happened was...
So how did this process of deliberation here, how did it begin? Who did you have to get in contact with?
How it started with the courthouse deliberation? Basically, Nike was going to come in and open it up for one day, resurface the ledges and open it up for Go Skate Day, stoke everybody out tremendously for just one day. Aaron Snyder, a friend of mine who's a pro and a street league judge, he basically texted me over and over again saying, like, this, we should open it up fully. This is ridiculous. Why only one day? They're spending that much money. It should go further than that. Let's open it up for a day. So Snyder texted me, convincing me that it'd be a good idea to pursue, and I went to Jay Handel, the chair of the neighborhood council, who I worked with for Stone's Park, and said, hey, do you think we could get this to be open full time? He said, yeah, I think it's a possibility, but we need a commitment from the skaters, we need a commitment from the city, and we need a commitment from Nike, or from somebody to pay for maintenance over the next couple of years. And so the event's supposed to be on a Saturday, that was on a Thursday. The next day on Friday, I went to the courthouse and met up with the guys from Nike and said, hey, we think we can keep this open. Would you guys be willing to support it financially if we had the opportunity? And they said, absolutely, however we can support, we want to help. And so went back to Jay and said, we have the money. What's next? He said, well, it has like a 2-month review process in order for us to get this approved legally by the city. And that's where the problem was, because on Saturday we have social media blowing up with this beautiful historic spot with brand new ledges and saying it's open, and then the knobs were supposed to go on that night. And so I had to make the call of saying, okay, call off the knobs, we'll figure something out. And so we thought about putting these signs up in the city and, being our own security guards. And ultimately what we decided to do was I basically printed out signs and knobbed the ledge with the signs that said, don't blow it, wait to skate, we have an opportunity to turn this into a legal spot, we just need communication, we're working with the city, hold up. And they did. For 2 months, nobody skated. And that was amazing to everybody. The cops basically said the skaters would walk up, look at the ledge, And then the cops said that the skaters going down the stairs. 2 months went by, nobody skated, not a single grind mark. And even myself, I was shocked.
Yeah.
And I know skateboarders and I love them. I was still surprised that everybody was cool. Apparently skaters would walk up, read the sign, like the cops here would say, skaters would walk up, read the sign, and walk away. And it was amazing to see. Nobody skated. And they pushed it through the city, and 2 months later we had a grand opening, and this spot was legal to skate. All of our Nike team came out, nice reception. It was pretty surreal. So it took the city being open to it, a commitment from a supportive company like Nike, and the cooperation of the skateboarding community to play along and understand that we can be patient. We needed to be respectful in order for the city to respect us enough. And the city saw that we didn't touch anything. They gave us the go-ahead. We made some new rules or guidelines that basically said it's not a spot, it's not a skate park. Be cool. Give people who are walking some leeway. Don't litter. Just basic shit.
Yeah.
Basic like common sense stuff.
Be a good person. Be a good
Yeah,
skater.
yeah, and for the older guys to show the kids, like, because kids like eat candy and they just throw it on the ground, and it's like, it's for the older guys to really, to understand that it's up to them to really teach this generation. Like, it really does take a village to raise a village, and that's what we've done here, is to kind of help implement this sacred space to be accessible to those who want to use it. But there's more of an appreciation because they realize that the city's given us the respect that we deserve to be able to skate in the park area.
So it's like a skater regulated.
Yeah,
Older people, influencing the younger, because a lot of times those will be like the punks who,
exactly.
make the bad rep and stuff like that.
Exactly. It's a right to go skate in the street, but it's not a right to go skate in the street and not get hassled, because that's not your property. They've effectively kind of given this spot to us to steward, to be stewards of, take care of. And I think we're doing a good job with it so far. You still get the trash here and there. But
Yeah.
I think for the most part, everybody's no places. Really, it's been a successful experiment so far, and the city's really happy with it. There are places for skateboarding, but skateboarding by nature is progressive. It wants to do what hasn't been done. And if there's a spot that's not supposed to be skated, sometimes it's going to get skated, and not because it's illegal, but because it's there. And so that's the thing. From a skateboarder's perspective, it doesn't get skated because it's illegal. It gets skated because it's there. From a property owner's perspective, it's either illegal or it isn't. So the question is there a legal issue? That depends on what side of it you're looking at.
Yeah.
I think as a skateboarder, street skating is a beautiful thing, and it's never going to stop, whether it's legal or illegal. That's just the word of the law. It just depends. That's a terrible answer to your question, but
So feeding off of that, would you say that that's one of the obstacles that you'd have to overcome being a skate advocate for an initiative like this?
Sure. I think it depends on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to do something like this, I think it takes the right timing. It certainly was the perfect storm for us, and I think we needed that because this was relatively unprecedented. Nothing quite like this had happened. There's been some other spaces where they've turned a blind eye to skateboarding, but to officially recognize it as a skatable, monument to skateboarding, and therefore it's kind of a historic landmark for us, and it's become accessible because of that as constituents of the city. I think that some of the challenging elements of trying to liberate a spot are making sure that every party that's involved is on board and understands the value that can come from it. So if you have private, so there's a couple, you need to alleviate the fears of liability and undesirable behavior. You need to replace that with the notions of community and athleticism and creativity and activity. If you can present these concepts to whoever you're dealing with, whether it be the city or a private property owner or a school board, if you can convince them that the notions of providing a safe, sanctioned space to form community, be athletic and active, and be creative, use your mind, grow with your community, grow with your friends. If you can, that's a really, really strong element that can really be more attractive than potential negative consequences of certain types of people or certain activities coming in. So it's really like you have a guarantee and you have a what if. And it's really about working with the right people who are open to seeing the possibility rather than hiding behind the law because it's easy to do. If everybody got it, then it wouldn't be what it is. But so I think the greatest obstacle to doing something like this is finding the right space, working with them and helping them to understand the potential, and really helping them to understand the need. You know, for every 25,000 people, there should be at least a 20,000 square foot skate park. You know, there's, you know, the Tony Hawk Foundation, we've discovered that the number of skaters relative to the number of sanctioned skatable space is about the size of your skateboard. Wow. It's just about 1.5 square feet. That's how much sanctioned skatable space there is for every skateboarder in the country. So there's a need. There's a need for there's a need. That's what you really need to help people recognize is that there's a need for these spaces. So you can spend money and create a beautiful space that's unique to a community and have it be a skate park and designated for that. That is a necessity. That's absolutely necessary. Another way to go about it that we're seeing is take spaces that are shared by the community and teach both the community and the skateboarders how to use that space together. Because what has happened is, one hand? Okay, no worries. What has happened is that because people don't understand skateboarding and whereas the skaters are skating on people's property, there's a little bit of a rift, there's a divide. People are saying skateboarding doesn't, you know, they just don't get it. They just think you're there to destroy property and do your own thing. They don't understand the value that comes from it. And so there's this animosity with property owners and city officials to say, and that's changing, it's shifting with skateboarding advocates that have breached the endemic, like Tony Hawk or the X Games or Deerdick or Sheckler, all these guys who say, like, look what this has brought to my life. It's been a huge benefit.
So do you think there's a way that property owners, the fear that they have from liabilities of having skateboarders on their property, is there a way that can be redirected or kind of made known that the liabilities on the skaters who enter their property?
Sure. That's a good question. I think that's one of the main issues that keeps property owners from being okay with skateboarders being on the property besides damaging property. It's stair set or handrail, there's not much that happens. I think anything that you can do to start a dialogue with the people, with the property owners and government officials, saying, letting them know that you're electing to do this, and letting them know that kind of just explaining to them that you can come armed with some facts about the safety difference between football, baseball, soccer, and hockey being safer than skateboarding or having less emergency room visits, that type of thing. There's plenty of that stuff online. You can look at TonyHawkFoundation.org or Skaters for Public Skate Parks, things like that. You can arm yourself with tools to just share with them that, one, you're electing to do this, and in California on public property, if you're electing to ride a skateboard or a bike, the liability is on you. So you can share that with them, and let them know that they have the potential to not be liable in that sense. You can sign a waiver. You can bring your own waiver and have them sign it. That's a possibility as well. But to really help them to understand and just talk to them, really creating a dialogue, that's going to help them understand better about what goes on. I mean, most of these guys are just flipping their board on the flat, they're skating, they slip out, roll their ankle, things like that. That happens, but it's not. I mean, you're not bungee jumping. You're not, skating a 15-foot pole or mega ramp or something familiar. It's akin to exercise or playing basketball or things like that. Like you wouldn't trip on a basketball player. So you can kind of help them overcome their negativity, their their bias, their preconceived notion of the danger of skateboarding by just talking to them and helping them understand how it works for you. But because there's that rift, because there's a little bit of animosity sometimes between the property owners and skaters, you find that skaters need to reteach themselves how to approach those people that are normally angry with them. Like if you imagine walking onto a baseball field and people screaming at you and yelling at you to get off the baseball field. You know, there will be tensions there at that point, and things are shifting. But we don't have as many baseball fields. We're working on it. There are about 3,000 skate parks in the country right now. There should be about, I think it's 12,000 skate parks. We're only at about a quarter of our need. So identifying the need, translating that properly. So if you identify your need, you translate that properly to the people that you want to work with. That's the positive thing. But the good thing is that skaters by nature are friendly. Because they have a strong community, they understand the value of communication, of working together. So helping them to understand that the cities are willing to work with them, people are willing to work with them. It's just going to take patience on both sides. And that's what it always takes. Whenever there's a rift or some type of animosity, it takes patience on both sides. Whether it's a war, a disagreement, whatever it is, it takes patience and a new perspective, a willingness to expand and grow. And that's what, skaters expand and grow all the time. That was sick. I don't know if you saw that, but
No.
skaters expand and grow all the time, and so does everybody else. But it's gonna take the skaters to reach out and say, "This is beneficial to us. We think it could be beneficial to your community. Let us show you how." And this is what it's gonna take. And it takes the middleman,